We all know what the Omnitrix is. It is the watch that has millions of DNA samples that can allow you to turn into any alien you want at any given time, as long as it has juice and works. You only had access to 10 aliens at a time, and I decided to make a video talking about the 10 aliens I'd want to have in my playlist. Some things to note is that first off, this is purely my opinion. Second off, I will not be picking Alien X because he's God, and that is unfair. And thirdly, please do not send me death threats.
I can't let you stay here.
You might be wondering, to anyone who doesn't know or like Water Hazard, why the heck would I pick this guy? Well, that's a good question, I'm not gonna lie. Out of all the Ben 10 aliens, there are definitely some that have better abilities than Water Hazard. However, I do have to say Water Hazard isn't a useless alien in the slightest. You see, while there are other Ben 10 aliens I use, do you really think I'd want to use Ripjaw? It's Ripjaw. Meanwhile, Water Hazard is really cool design, has a good name, and also I remember really liking him in Omniverse, and also loving him in Ultimate Aliens. So I had to put him in purely because I enjoyed his design and name, and overall his abilities. While not being the most useful, I still found some purpose with them. Moving on to the number 9 spot. Now you might be wondering why out of every single flight-based Ben 10 alien would I pick Jet Ray? Well, there's a lot of reasons actually. First off, he's definitely one of the more well-known Ben 10 aliens, especially when you grew up with UA. On top of that, his abilities are super handy, because obviously he has flight capabilities, but obviously another addition is that he has lasers, which do make him better than some other aliens. I'm not saying Stinkfly's bad, but dear heavens, Astrodactyl is just a worse version of Jet Ray. For some reason, Astrodactyl can only shoot from his beak, meanwhile Jet Ray can shoot from multiple parts of his body. On top of that, Astrodactyl requires a jetpack to fly, Jet Ray can just use his wings. Moving on to the number 8 spot. Now, out of every single bipedal animal alien that Ben has, Blitzwolfer stands out as my favorite, because A, I like werewolves, B, he has sonic-based abilities with his howl, which is a nice addition, which does kind of make him a little bit better than Wrath, but I can see why people would prefer him over Blitzwolfer. And obviously there are other stronger aliens, such as Forearms and Waybig, but to be fair, I like werewolves a lot, and it's not like Blitzwolfer was a bad alien. He had such a great design. And out of all the Halloween aliens, this one was my favorite. Don't get me wrong, I like Ben Mummy and Ben Victor, but I don't know, I like this one more, and it deserves a spot in my playlist. Next up is the number 7 slot on this playlist. So, Echo Echo is, well, I'd have to say probably my favorite UA alien. Not only do I absolutely love Ultimate Echo Echo, but out of all the aliens that can clone, that being 2, Echo Echo's probably my favorite. You might be wondering why I didn't pick anyone else like Ditto or heck any other small aliens like Grey Matter. Well, now that I think about it, that would have been ideal. Ignoring that, Echo Echo is a genuinely useful alien and one of my favorites. And he definitely has his uses with his sonic abilities and cloning. And also, I would say, Ultimate Echo Echo is my favorite ultimate design. Moving on to the number 6 slot. Now here's the part where we get into the aliens I truly have a connection with, and the ones I find the most useful out of the bunch. Ghost Freak, while having some interesting moments in the show, I still believe firmly is one of Ben's useful aliens. Not only can he turn invisible, phase through walls, but he can also possess anything he wants, which I believe is a very strong and useful quality. Plus, I genuinely like the ghost design. There are three, and they definitely look very different, and I do have a controversial statement. My favorite's Omniverse. Please don't send death threats. But I don't know, out of all the Ben 10 classic aliens, I feel like Ghost Freak was one of the ones that just kind of got forgotten, but it was always in the back of my mind, and I thought, yep, that's one I would like to use at some point. Despite circumstances. Moving on to the number 5 slot is an alien that I like purely because he's basically Lego Man. Despite the fact that most of the Omniverse aliens I would never consider putting in my Ben 10 playlist, Blocks is one of the first ones that comes to mind when I made this video. I mean, can you really blame me? He is literally able to construct into anything he wants, and he is basically made out of Legos. Need I say more? He can become anything he wants. He's made of Legos, and his name is simple yet effective. Enough said. Coming in at the number 4 spot. Moving on, next on our list is Cannonbolt. Now, I have to say, watching the classic Ben 10, I really enjoyed seeing Cannonbolt appear. It showed that we could actually get more than just 10 aliens. And I'm not gonna lie, he is so good. Like, I like the design in all versions, despite, well, some of them looking a bit questionable. But I do have to say that even though his ability is basically just to roll around, I think that I do still appreciate Cannonbolt for being a unique alien that we haven't seen since we've been stuck with 10 aliens for 2 seasons. Plus, I do have to say, rolling around as an indestructible ball of pure mayhem sounds like a blast. In our number 3 spot is, of course, now we all know who Heat Blast is. He is the first Ben 10 alien we ever came across. And on top of that, he's definitely one of the most loved out of them. Obviously, there are other Ben 10 aliens that could be a better choice. I mean, Swamp Fire would be more than ideal considering how he has his fire abilities and more. But I don't know, it feels wrong to not have Heat Blast on this playlist because he's such an iconic and useful alien. I know for certain that my playlist is definitely not the best it could possibly be, but this is meant to be on my favorite aliens. And besides, Heat Blast can fly, and I don't think Swapfire can, so he's on the list.
Yep. Hey, check this.
In our number 2 spot is the speedster himself, Accelerate. Naturally, I had to put him on this list because his speed abilities are extremely useful. I mean, it's not like I'm going to pick Fast Track over the superior speedster alien. Accelerate is not only super iconic, but his abilities have been shown to be useful multiple times. And on top of that, he is definitely one of the coolest aliens in the classic series. I mean, he's Accelerate. I mean, the whole speedster ability thing is already a golden ticket to the playlist. This guy can run on water. Also, gotta say, the Flash is one of my favorite superheroes, so he kind of fits the bill as an alien I'd love to have on my playlist. I mean, come on, super speed is an awesome superpower. In the number 1 spot and the ace of all the aliens is Feedback. I think it's no surprise that this is my favorite alien because he is definitely one of the coolest, most useful, and definitely one of the most powerful aliens. I mean, Ben's favorite alien was Feedback, so it's kind of fitting how this is also my favorite alien. The design works really well. I love his electricity ability. I mean, compared to any other electricity alien Ben has, this one's definitely the most useful in my opinion. Plus, he is absolutely so cool. I mean, come on, with a name like Feedback, a great design, and some neat electricity abilities, it's just too perfect. It's too good to be true. Plus, I gotta say, huge respect to the guy who decided to put him in this show. God damn it, this is my favorite Ben 10 alien. And with that, we finally come to the conclusion of the video. And as it's clearly shown, I have good taste in Ben 10 aliens. Obviously, because I didn't have Alien X or God. And I didn't have the Ultimate Aliens because it's a normal Omnitrix we're talking about here, not the Albedo's custom Omnitrix. I will say there are some notable mentions. I will probably change my opinion the next day or maybe in a year. But for now, I think this is probably the best playlist I could have come up with, and I'm pretty happy with it. So thank you so much for watching. Please do not send me death threats, and enjoy your day.